Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to a new podcast. My name is Ian Said, but most people know me as Tacho. And today we have the pleasure to to talk with Andreas Savva. I'm saying that correctly?
That
Um,
was pretty good, yes.
awesome. Better known as Ace, one of the best Ness Mains in Europe or Middle East, depends on what's your priorities in terms of offline or online. Ace has been a force to be reckoned with in the Cypriot community, as well as making a name for himself within every other scene He's been in. I have been interested in making an interview with someone from Cyprus, and I'm sure that this won't be my last time in the podcast with the players from this country. Ace, how are you?
Hey, I just wanted to also thank you for this opportunity. It was a delight to get the message on Twitter that you wanted to interview me. And of course, I'm very open to it. Uh,
Thank you.
Hope that I can provide the value that you're looking for. And I'm good. And how are you?
So far, so good, and I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. Do you want to start with the questions?
Yeah, we can get on with it.
Awesome. So I wanted to start the podcast knowing little bit about your past with the game. How long have you been playing Smash, and how did you eventually enter into the competitive scene?
Yeah. So basically, this is a funny story because I didn't know what Smash was before my brother, who's 8 years younger than me, bought the Brawl on the Wii,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to make fun of him for playing in the beginning, but then I started playing too. Used to main Pit. Uh, by the way, he's in the chat. The real Michalis. Shout out. I used to main Pit, he used to main Lucario. We used to be very bad. We used to barely even shield, you know. And then, yeah, that's how you start, right? You play with a family member, and then you kind of get annoyed, they get on your nerves, and then you kind of grow from that.
Yeah.
So Brawl was my first one, but I actually gave up on Smash after I stopped playing. I've never played Smash 4, and then once Ultimate came out, I bought a Switch. Or once the announcement that it would come out uh, came, I bought the Switch and I started playing quite heavily Smash as soon as it came out. And so yeah, as soon as I got a bit better, I saw that there were tournaments in Stockholm where I used to live at the time,
Mm-hmm.
so I signed up for one or two, and that's the rest is history.
Do you remember your first tournament?
I do remember my first tournament. I think I went 0-2. Was a catastrophe, or maybe not 0-2, but like I got destroyed
Hmm.
pretty harshly. Um, by some people that I later beat, which felt really good. But uh, yeah, it was like a slap in the face. It was really a nice slap in the face.
That sounds weird. But so it wasn't in Stockholm, you said. So how it was like a weekly? It was like a bigger tournament, or how did you found out about the scene in general?
Hmm, good question. Don't remember how I found out about the tournaments. I guess I searched on Facebook. Yeah, I think I searched on Facebook, and there was a Smash group about, yeah, Smash group, Stockholm Smash group or whatever. And yeah, I saw the events and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go there and give it a shot. Maybe I'll beat everyone.
Foolish ace.
That was
So
not the case.
so where does the tag ace come from specifically?
That's an interesting story because I'm quite old, as I mentioned before. I'm 33, so I was around during the time the arcade was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like whenever you had a high score, you could only input 3 letters. And I thought it was really nice that you input like the first, the third, and then the fifth, and the word was like ace. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna do that every time I get a high score. So I used to do that every time.
Hmm.
And then I watched One Piece also, and Ace is a friggin' super cool character in there. So it was obvious that that was going to be my tag.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty cool. Like, it kind of makes sense because I cannot input my tag in our case either. But I tried to take a shot and see if like there's 5 letters. But if there isn't, like, it's cool to have at least a tag that can fit those. Um, so from all the
Did you
characters,
do TAC?
I actually do the TCO,
ECO. Makes sense.
or just input my name, which is Ian. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
I used to also write AND in the beginning, but then I saw someone doing the ACE. I'm like, oh, that's so much better. I'm gonna do it.
what a freaking copycat. Anyways, from all the characters in the game, why Ness specifically?
Yeah, that's also a cool story because I used to start. I started with Kirby because World of Light. You kind of start with Kirby and then you unlock everyone else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's easy to play him.
Mhm.
Uh, then I dabbled with Pichu and ZSS.
Mhm.
But playing against my brother, I got destroyed all the time. And then at some point, we were like, when he was here in Cyprus for vacation, because he lives in the Netherlands, we
Mhm.
were like, yeah, maybe we should watch some Smash videos so that we can learn something.
Mhm.
So we go on YouTube and we watch Austin, if you know him, a
Of
Smash
course.
main in Texas, I think,
Yeah.
somewhere.
He's awesome.
Um, yeah, I was very impressed. And yeah, uh, that's why I decided to start maining him because what he did, I was like, I want to do it too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you feel about Ness in the current offline meta?
Yeah. How do I feel about him? I think he has a lot of potential. Um, I mean, of course, you see, I think I saw a tweet a few days ago from, or I don't remember where it was from, but it was like the top 100 players
Mhm.
in the world or in US. I don't remember exactly, but it was like 4 Nesses in there.
Yeah, I was gonna mention
It
that
was,
later.
yeah. So he has a lot of potential. What was the question again? How I see him in the meta?
Yeah.
Well, like ranking wise, he's not top tier. I wouldn't rank him as a top tier. Um, but yeah, he has a lot of potential because of his movement, I would say mostly. You can do a lot of things. Um, and I think the potential has not been fully exploited yet.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think that he has the potential to win a major, or that's just not possible?
Yes, I think,
Oh,
to be honest, I yeah, I see very few characters that don't have the potential to win majors.
okay.
Um, yeah, I started thinking a bit differently about matchups recently because I also saw Light. I think he mentioned that regarding playing against the DLC like Steve and Kazuya, the characters themselves are so strong that you
Mhm.
kind of have to play the player. And I think if you kind of get into the psychology, like try to understand and read what the other person is thinking, then no matter what character you have, you can counter every move and just um, you can win against anyone if you understand them well enough. I'm not a top player, so I might not know what I'm saying, but that's my opinion so far with
No,
the
I
knowledge that I have.
I honestly think that it really makes sense. At the end of the day, you need a really good mentality and a really good Oh, thanks, Lace Luck, for tuning in to Chicken. You really need a good mentality in order not only to win, but not only to get, but also to get better at the game. So it really makes sense when you have to get into the mentality of the other person and what they want to in their full sets. So I love that there's a lot of players, I guess, from Cyprus or from Sweden that are in the chat. Hello to everyone.
Oh,
If
Thoben, shout out to you, man, and the other guys, Weird Person, Ants, and
if
uh,
anyone has a
Lazy
question,
Luck.
if anyone has a question for Ace, you can put it in the chat. I will read them as well. So what we were saying before with four Ness mains making it both the Ori rank and the Ultra rank, how do you feel about this meta with so many different players using this particular character? And who's your favorite between those four? I think right now those are Syrup, Gact, Send, and Atara.
Yeah, those are the ones. There's other players, Ness Mains, that are very like have a lot of potential and could easily be top 100. Like for example, I don't know what happened to what was his tag? Uh,
Faux,
Bob? No.
Faux, picking.
Oh, oh,
Faux stopped playing. Also, Austin
he
stopped
stopped
playing.
playing.
Yeah,
No, look at your cat behind. Very
yeah.
cute.
Which one?
Um, yeah. So Austin also. I mean, yeah. What was the question again? Sorry, I got distracted by the cat.
It's alright. I have three. How do you feel about this meta with so many different players using one particular character?
What do you mean? How do I feel about it?
Like, for example, we're in a meta where there's at least 10 top Steve mains and three or four top Kazuyas. How do you feel that right now, for example, back in 2019, there weren't a lot of Ness mains that were making breakthroughs in the scene, and right now we have at least 4 or 6 Ness mains that are making breakthroughs and even getting into rankings. So how do you feel about this meta evolving with so many Ness mains?
I mean, to me, it's just amazing. I remember when Send won this in the time during the pandemic. Send won a tournament that was like 5,000 people signed up, and he won it.
Mm-hmm.
His tag back then was bestness, and I'm like, wow, it's a great day for Ness mains because that shows that sky is the limit, Um, and to me, I watch a lot of VODs on YouTube, with Ness. So the more there are, the more I learn from. The more I learn. So I can easily, the more the merrier. That's what I think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you also asked me who my favorite is. Having a hard time deciding between, like I watch also all of the VODs of Send and Gact and Syrup. Like I like them a lot. I think my play style um, resembles Gact's the most.
Mm-hmm.
But I have taken coaching from Send as well. I've learned a few things.
Awesome.
But yeah, they're all incredible. I can't choose one really.
Makes sense. Don't worry. So you mentioned that your playstyle was similar to GAT. How do you feel that your playstyle compares or changes in comparison to other Nesmins?
Yeah, no, I don't remember why I think that my playstyle is similar to Gackt's. Um, I think Gact. I think, to be honest, I think his comboing and his disadvantage and advantage, obviously, are very similar to mine in the choices that he makes.
Hmm.
Um, but of course, he's higher, much higher skilled than me. Yeah, I don't know. The other guys are more. I would say I think the other guys are more technical than Gact.
Hmm.
Maybe except Syrup. I don't know. I think the other guy. I'm not very technical with Ness, and I think Gact is not that technical either compared to the other guys. But he. That's my opinion. That's what I noticed. Yeah, he does really well anyway because he's good at reading, understanding the opponent, making adaptations, and things like that.
Hmm. So, going into this question, there are many characters in the game where one person can play in different styles with the same character, being rushed down, being a masher, aggressive, technical, trying to not interact, aka Sonic. So, do you think that Ness, in order to work, needs to play in one specific trait, or it can vary between different types of techniques?
Hmm. I don't have a good answer to that question.
It's alright, don't worry. You can
I
take your
think
best shot.
that yeah, I think that he has. No, I can't really say. I'm mashing. That's what I mostly do. I mash. No, I don't know. I don't really have a good answer to that question,
Okay,
unfortunately.
don't worry. Do you think your playstyle is honest?
Sorry?
Do you think your playstyle is honest?
What do you mean, honest?
Do you go for a lot of mashing and techniques and not necessarily being technical in order to win? Or do you think your playstyle prevails in order. Do you think your technical abilities prevail instead of the ones that instead of like going for pick a fire a lot and in order to and pick a fire into up smash or pick a fire into forward smash and that's pretty much it.
Well, I don't think you can. Um, I don't think you can get very far if you just PK fire and try to forward smash all the time.
Sure.
Um, and that well, maybe in the beginning I used to do that, but I think you need to adapt after because the the slightly better players, they're gonna be able to see through that and counter it. My brother specifically, he used to kind of he escapes PK fire very easily because he's the Yoshi main. So
Mm.
I kind of had to find other ways to, go around it. And um, I think Ness as a character, it's easy to think that he's really well Wi-Fi, and he is. He's really well, online. He does really well. But also as a character, he has a lot of. He's a good strategy with him is to actually throw out hitboxes and as safe as you can, and try to catch the opponent in one of them. So I do that a lot. That's why I'm joking that I'm mashing. I'm not really mashing. I'm trying to be as safe as possible. And most of the time I know what I'm doing. But yeah, so that's a good strategy to go with Ness. And I think it works quite well because of his frame data in the air, especially.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you like playing online?
It varies. Uh, just like the lag varies. If there's a lot of lag, to be honest, I prefer playing offline,
Of course.
like so much more, you know. But since there's not a lot of opportunity here in Cyprus, especially in my city, there's not a lot of people that live in my city that play Smash.
Hmm.
I just try to do the best that I can in online, and play offline whenever I get the opportunity when I travel, for example, or when we have a tournament here offline.
Okay. So, what's Ness' worst skin? Worst alt?
The worst one. There's ones that I don't even remember. I would pick those ones. I think it's kind of purple, maybe.
What?
I think
The
barely anyone picks that.
the white one. It's just so
The
plain.
white one. Yeah, yeah, I can agree. I can agree.
Um, I remember back when I used to co-main Ness. I got a lot of
Oh.
slack because I play with dub jump on, and even when I was playing Ness. So, do you think it could be beneficial letting the stick to jump while using Ness, or is it okay to for people to make fun of me for using dub jump on?
Yeah, people should make fun of you, man.
Um, so I have one question here that is more so if you agree or not. Is it worse to use Ness bat in order to reflect projectiles, or is it better to shield them or just absorb them if given the chance?
Uh, I just saw that Afro wrote that Pew uses the stick to jump, so maybe you're onto something here.
I
I don't
think,
know if you know who he is.
yeah, I know
He's the
who Pew
best
is.
Ness in EU.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the best Ness mains in EU along with S1. Um, so do you think that reflecting with the bat is beneficial, or is it better to just shield or absorb if given the chance?
It depends. I think most of the time it's good to shield or absorb, but sometimes I have gotten some kills with the deflect that no one expected. And I saw Gact also doing that to Steve Mains, for example.
Yeah,
It's so satisfying, you can't even imagine. Because it multiplies the launch power and
yeah.
damage, maybe. I'm not sure about the damage, but
No,
at least the launch, it multiplies it. So it's great if you're sure about it.
yeah.
But most of the time, try to shield, and absorb if you have the time.
Hmm. So Turok Diodino asked, and that was another question that I wanted to ask. What are your thoughts on Lucas?
Lucas is a very interesting character. I love playing against him. I think even though they're both PK boys, it is still much more. They are very different, I would say.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think like I play. I'm a solo Ness main, so I don't know how to play any other character. I'm very bad with everyone else. I tried playing Lucas mm, a few times, but I sucked with Lucas as well. But I really like the combo game and all the stuff that he does. Like I think that um, he has a lot of potential. Um, but or I don't know if he has a lot of potential, but he's very interesting to play. From seeing all the combos and all the things that you can do with him.
Yeah, of course. I personally believe that um, Lucas is safer, but at the same time you have some. It's kind of hard to kill sometimes, and but Ness is stronger, but you can get gimped a lot if you don't know if you don't know the matchup well,
Mhm.
or you're just off stage in a really bad spot, and it gets
Yeah.
quite frustrating, mostly online with Ness. And I think right now, for example, there are matchups. For example, in DLC, uh, in DLC two, for example, Pyramithra, Kazuya, Steve. Most of those matchups are better to use with Lucas than with Ness, in my opinion, at least. Because I've tried with
Why do you think
both.
that?
Well, for example, we talk about Lucas. It's safer to use Lucas. If we talk about Steve, for example, it's safer to use Lucas because of the smash attacks and because of the big fire that is not like something that you can get SDI off. It's more so of a tool to get off me. It's a more so of get off me tool than a tool to use for combos. So for example, if Steve gets out of the picket fire, you have the of if Steve gets out of the picket fire with Ness, it has more chances of hitting you with forward smash or with an up smash or with cart. So and with Lucas you don't have that because Lucas mostly uses the picket fire to get out to be like a zoning tool instead of a combo tool. And
He can
also
also kill.
yeah, so and also with Lucas you have more chances to get Steve out of stage and like you have the chance of either breaking the toolbox or you have the chance to kill Steve off stage more with Lucas than with Ness. And as far as Kazuya, you have more chances to zone Kazuya with Lucas than with Ness because Ness is more of a character with brawling tools than Lucas. And while playing Kazuya, at least for me, you have to stay away from Kazuya as much as possible, and with Ness, you need to get close to Kazuya.
Yes. Yeah, I can agree.
And
I haven't given it much thought, but I agree with what you're saying.
and also, for example, Lucas has more tools to get to kill players to kick characters off stage. For example, Kazuya or Sora or Seed. With Paramitra, although either character sucks against Paramithra in my opinion. Uh,
I think most characters do.
ain't gonna lie, I had more opportunities to beat players with low tiers than with the PK voice. For example, with King K. Rool. That's why I second King K. Rool.
Hmm. Makes
Um,
sense.
yeah. So, do you feel happy about how Ultimate ended, or will you have like something or someone else added?
Uh, I, to be honest, most of the characters that were added, I didn't know. So to me, it would have been great if there were some characters, or like I knew most characters. I knew Sora just from like heard of him. I've never played Kingdom Hearts, for example. Kazuya, I played Tekken, but not not a lot. Um, I think a cool addition was Sephiroth. Um, but me and my brother were, hoping for Crash, Crash Bandicoot to join. But he never did, and we just continued on crying in our corners.
I mean, I had my characters that were added that was sad to see to not them being added. For example, Porky from Earthbound, or
Ah,
or a League of Legends character.
interesting.
But at the same time, I'm happy that Sephiroth was added. I'm happy that I'm somewhat happy that Steve was added because for on one hand, I never played Minecraft, never, and on the other hand, I love the salt. I love it. I don't have too much. I feel that Steve, like people that get angry at Steve are is kind of overrated at this point. And I feel that Steve is not that hard of a matchup in comparison to Min or Kazuya. So I don't know. I don't feel that it's that broken of a character. I mean, I want everyone to know that I'm Tacho, the guy with shitty opinions, and that's what most people know me as. I mean, I say that Sheik is low tier, and that Tarzan the movie sucks. So don't be too surprised.
Nice.
So don't so the next question. What is usually your mentality when you are in a tournament setting?
Well, uh, yeah, that's an interesting question because I have a lot of thoughts about that. Um, I think I do get anxiety, like, what do you call it? Performance anxiety. Like, I want to play well and do really well. Um, but I think also my age helps me a lot because throughout the years I've learned how to handle these things more or less so that I don't choke as much. And I think that helped me out in a lot of tournaments where I'm like, I remember this tournament in Portugal. I was playing against a banjo main who was winning 2-0 against me, and I reverse 3-0'd him. Like I didn't even flinch. Like I was like poker face, sure about that I would, you know, kill him in the end, and it happened. I think I did a lot. I do a lot of these things because uh, if you don't get anxiety, it's more likely that your opponent will.
Hmm.
So it's a way to play your opponent as well, not show that that you have anxiety. My mentality generally is that I try to remind myself that no specific tournament matters. It doesn't really say anything about me. It's good to have fun and learn something, but at the same time, do your best.
Of course.
Do
So
your best to recognize habits, patterns. Just play the game at your best ability.
yes. So recently there was this topic for example, in the latest major in the U.S. Let's make big moves 2023. That every set was a best of five. How do you feel about that change? And will you like to have this change brought up in other tournaments as well, or in every tournament? Do you like having best of three up until top eight or top five or top three, or do you like having every set being top best of five?
I don't have a strong opinion about that. I like best of fives more because you have more opportunity to actually adapt, and I think that's the point of the game. In the end, adapting to your opponent's moves.
Hmm.
It promotes adapting to win. So I think that if everything was best of five, would have been better. At the same time, I understand that tournament organizers can't do that all the time because it takes so much time, right?
Yeah.
So um, it's understandable that they do best of three. And to be honest, I think most of my best of three matches were quite fair.
Hmm.
Like the better player won in the end.
Of course.
Um, so yeah, I can't say that I have a very strong opinion about it.
So, how do you feel about the level of the competitive scene in Cyprus in comparison to other communities in Europe?
I mean, if we compare Europe, I think there's some really, really strong countries. Um, yeah, I think I mentioned this earlier also, but I think we don't. Quick play in Cyprus is terrible. I think the people in the chat can validate me on this. I can hardly find anyone to play against. And also, I think that contributes to people not wanting to play as much, you know, because the reason that I became this good is because, first of all, I was obsessed, but also because I had the opportunity to play at every level that I was in. I had the opportunity to play people that were on my level or above. So that's what you need to be better. That's basically vital. And so because we don't have that in Cyprus, I think we have players with a lot of potential to become really, really good, but not enough resources, I'd say. At the same time, I think a lot of these players in Cyprus are really good. Like my brother, he doesn't live here, but you know, Afro, Demi, Chris, and you know, other people too. I don't want to mention everyone, but we have some really strong players. But I think that if they had more resources, like better quick play or like engage, like better connection with other countries in Europe, because also the connection is really bad from Cyprus, I think it would have been many times better and stronger.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, like you said before, like we were talking before the podcast started, it's kind of hard for different scenes to get really good internet connections. I've talked about that with different players all around the world, mostly with players from Middle East or Africa. So it kind of makes sense in that sense, and I'm happy that at least you got the chance to play in other countries, and it's great because we're going into this question. One thing that you have been able to do is to travel to different scenes in Europe, and even defeated some of the international talent like Iberias from Portugal or Chino from Brazil. So how has it been your experience while traveling to play Smash? To play Smash.
It has been like 95% positive, I would say.
Of course.
It's, I think communities, Smash communities that are offline, I don't know about the online. There's a lot of people that say really bad things about Smash online communities, but when it comes to offline communities, at least the ones that I've been to, which is mostly Stockholm and Lisbon, I have very positive experiences. I met a lot of guys that I liked and that we played even friendlies on different times together, and it was a fun way to meet new people also. And in terms of skills, you kind of, at least for me, because I've been called a Wi-Fi warrior a lot because of Ness, and there's a lot of people that actually do hate Ness. Yeah, it's the character. I can take it, but you know. So for me, it was also a test to you know, test my skills offline as well, and I'm very satisfied with the results. Anyway, I would suggest to everyone that lives in a small community, and the people here in Cyprus, I would suggest that they travel and play some Smash, at least in Greece. You know, in Greece they have some really strong players as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a really cool experience.
Yeah, I bet. So you have been streaming as well for a while. So why did you start streaming, and what do you like about streaming the most?
Why did I start streaming? Well, to be honest, I wasn't really aspiring to become a full-time streamer or anything. It's not, it hasn't really been my goal. I just thought it would be first of all, I work, so I have a steady income every month. So I had the opportunity to buy the things that you need to stream. And so I thought that it would be a lot of fun to stream, maybe tournaments, and have the people that like you and support you in the chat and be there with you. I think it was like an amazing experience, to be honest. And that was, well, the goal. I didn't really have a goal in the beginning. I just thought that it would be fun, and I just wanted to see where it goes, how it is. Yeah, there was a time where I devoted some resources and time into it, but I was never really that serious about it.
Hmm.
But that said, streaming tournaments with people cheering you on, it's an amazing feeling, you know?
I bet. I honestly never had a capture like in order to stream playthroughs or anything, but I understand what you mean. I mostly have been like a talk show podcasts or just talking streamers, so I never got the chance to stream a video game.
It's
But
good too.
I bet it's fun. Um, so as far as I remember correctly, you were part of the sponsor known as Taipan Esports, and until its defunction in 2022. How and when did you enter the sponsor, and how was your experience with said org?
I don't remember when I entered it. I don't think I'm officially a member anymore. Uh, there wasn't an official like sign up or official like I'm not with you anymore. It's just that
The sponsor shut down.
yeah, it's like the relationship deteriorated after some time. Yeah, what can I say? I think it was more of a why not question. I got approached. Actually, there was a person that joined the Cypriot server and asked who the best player is, and then basically that person wanted to recruit people for their um, esports team, and it wasn't Taipan. But then in that esports team, I saw a player that I know, Nines, he's called. He's a snake main, really good snake main in EU.
Hmm.
So I started talking to him about his experience, and he said, "Well, I want to join Taipan instead because these guys don't seem that serious or whatever. I don't know." And so I said, "Yeah, okay, I can join that with you if they will let me." And they accepted, so I joined. But I don't think I ever got that much from it, and they didn't get a lot from me. So I think that's why the relationship kind of deteriorated,
Yeah,
fizzled out.
I understand the feeling. I've been I've been a sponsor like that.
I'm
So
curious to play you, by the way,
to
if you're up
play
for some games after.
to play me, I don't have online.
Oh,
I
you don't have it.
No, I
Dang.
don't. I don't think the connection will be too good either. So,
No, probably not.
so we've been talking with a lot with Ace. So now I want to talk a little bit with Andreas a little bit. So
You
tell
want me
us.
to go get him?
Yeah, take off the hat and and we'll see. So, so what do you like to do besides playing video games?
Yeah, it varies. First of all, I work as a software developer. I work 40 hours a week, so I do that a lot. After that, I also um, I'm running a business. Uh, yeah, I'm running a business with a friend of mine that's also, my business partner. I also enjoy. I have been really into self-development, like hardcore, in the past. I'm still into it, but not as hardcore as before. Um, I like to work out. Now, recently, I started working out every day, um, running and, some resistance training with resistance bands. I also listen to audiobooks, mostly non-fiction, like literature and self-development, of course, because I enjoy that. Um, yeah. And if I have spare time, either I meet friends or my family or, just watch something on Netflix or whatever.
Netflix is getting kind of old right now, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm thinking about stopping paying.
HBO Max seems quite interesting. I have a I don't have an account on Netflix, but I do have an account on HBO Max.
Hmm. Is it good?
I mean, there's Last of Us. I haven't watched it, but my wife, my fiance says it's good. So there are a lot of shows that
Yes.
are Cartoon Network or Adult Swim or Warner that are really good, and that's where my main attraction for TV series or movies goes for. But otherwise, I watch other TV series or movies on my own without HBO Max.
Hmm.
Um, so it really depends, to be honest. Um,
Yeah.
so we talk about your experience while traveling for different communities in other parts of Europe, but how was your experience while traveling aside from Smash?
Yeah, that's also something that I do often. I travel a lot since I work remotely and I can do it. I've been a lot to Portugal recently, um, which is has been a lot of fun. What's my experience with traveling? I mean, I really enjoy it, and I've always wanted to work remotely. And my kind of dream came true a few years ago when just the company that I have been working for, during the pandemic. Also, I asked them if it's okay if I can be work remotely, and they said that it's not a problem. So um, basically, my base now is Cyprus, but I travel quite a lot and quite often. Um, I find it in the beginning, I was like, wow, it's amazing. I can live the nomad lifestyle, like just have a backpack or something, and then just travel anywhere and live anywhere because I have money also, like I can do it. But
It's really not that simple.
um, yeah, it's not as rosy as it sounds. It's like there's a lot of preparation, a lot of, things that you need to take care of. You're missing a lot of things. You can't take everything with you, of course. So, like for example, I need two screens to work. I don't need them, but my productivity is much higher when I have two screens that I'm working on. And how do you take a screen with you? Like, in the end, I bought a portable one, but like that doesn't work as well as, now I have two monitors in my laptop. So um, it's nice to have a base.
Of course.
But also, I enjoy that I have the opportunity to travel whenever and wherever. But I'm over that dream of like, live my whole life traveling.
I understand that feeling of having two monitors. I do have two monitors, and I'm currently in my fiance's PC because some for some weird reason my PC can't tolerate streaming. Weirdly enough, shoutouts to my fiance, and both of us have two monitors. So I understand that feeling of not understanding how to work properly with just only one monitor. It kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, to answer the question by three-headed monkey. By the way, first of all, I would have loved if Guybrush wa was in the game as a DLC. Like, I would cry. I would probably cry. And then secondly, yes, I have watched Shrek. I think not all of them, um, but I have. Yes.
I'm gonna say this, and this is the start of Tacho's shitty opinions. I think Shrek is mid. It is good, but it's kind of overrated. Monsters Inc. deserve the Oscar over Shrek.
Get him, chat.
Uh, watch Puss in Boots 2. I
The
really
second
wanted to
one.
watch Puss in Boots 2. I haven't watched it yet. What's out there? Well, here goes another shitty opinion about that show. I I hate SpongeBob SquarePants.
What?
I
How
really don't
can you
like it.
hate SpongeBob,
I really
man?
don't like it. And honestly I feel that the pretty first few seasons were the worst, and it kind of got better over time, but it still was bad.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, I've never watched it avidly, but uh, I remember like crying from laughter watching it. So I don't share that opinion, man. Sorry.
And,
I am unsubscribing. Michalis.
you mean unfollowing, not unsubscribing, unless you want to pay money, which I will be glad for. I will be glad, but like I had coffee instead of Twitch because Twitch kind of sucks in terms of subscribing. But here goes one of my worst takes ever.
Milk before cereal. No. Ah, okay. I think this is enough for the interview.
Oh come on, is it really that bad?
Surprisingly, you're not the only one that I heard that prefers that. So maybe there's something to it.
Oh, and here's the oh shit, 8 subscribe. Oh, thank you so much. Oh,
No
thank
worries,
you.
man.
I don't think I'll ever see that money because Twitch, but thank you.
I don't know
Um.
what you mean by coffee, but
Oh.
I can buy you a coffee.
If I'm not mistaken, there you go.
I actually did get some money from Twitch, but it was months after.
Yeah, I think that Twitch has this thing where you can where once you reach $100, there's that was the moment where you can receive a payout. But Twitch takes you like 30% of the revenue, and Argentina, because of something, takes you another 20%. So it kind of sucks. Uh, so I think I will never see my money from Twitch unless I do something about it. Unless I like stream to like a thousand people, but that's not really my goal. Um. So this is more of a serious question. If you don't want to answer this, it's alright. Don't worry. In what ways has the pandemic affected you overall in life outside of Smash?
Hmm. Yeah. So first of all, during the pandemic, I was living in Sweden for the most part.
Hmm.
So, and Sweden, I don't know if you know about it, but they had almost no restrictions.
Yeah, I
It was
remember.
just suggestions from the government.
Yeah,
So to me, I was really, luckily, I was not very affected. And I got corona once, but it was really mild.
lucky bastard.
Um, sorry?
Lucky bastard. I got Corona twice, and the first time was awful.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, I think I got like inflammation from the vaccine, which in
Mm,
retrospect I shouldn't have gotten. But
that sucks.
uh, yeah, so but generally, I mean, I don't know anyone that has suffered strongly from it. The hardest thing that I had to endure was my mom visiting me in Sweden for a week. She getting corona and having to stay for 3 weeks, and then one night she got a panic attack because she thought she wasn't breathing very well, but she was fine. But we went to the emergency anyway, and
Mm,
they told us that everything is okay.
mm.
So uh, luckily, it wasn't very affected.
I'm glad she's yeah, that at the end of the day it wasn't that bad, and I'm happy that she's doing well.
Yeah, everything's good. How about you?
In terms of COVID, Argentina had a really rough time.
Hmm.
During the pandemic, I had to stay at my parents' house during the pandemic, and I didn't left home until much later. But I think that it has its pros and cons, but mostly pros because I started streaming during the pandemic, and I met my
Hmm.
fiance during the pandemic, and
Oh, nice.
I don't think I would be here unless the pandemic would have started.
That's great. Or, I mean, not great that it had to uh, take a pandemic to do these things, but at
Of
least
course,
good that it worked out for you, man.
precisely. Um, and unfortunately, right now I'm living with my fiance and a roomie, and we're constructing this life together in order to work. And thankfully, the pandemic right now is not that. Thankfully, Corona, thanks to the vaccines and thanks to the measurement that was taken in order for uh, the country to work, right now is getting better, fortunately.
Hmm. That's great.
Well, if there's any other person that wants to ask any questions to Ace, right now is the moment, and this is your last chance. In the meantime, I will proceed with the lightning round questions. Here's the moment where not necessarily you have to answer your questions as fast as you can, but nevertheless, there wasn't a specific stage for the podcast where I could throw these random questions at you. So, Ace, are you ready?
Wait, did you say I have to answer as fast as I can?
No, not necessarily. You have to answer your these questions as fast as you can, but nevertheless, there wasn't a specific stage of the podcast where I could answer this random. Well, I could throw these questions at you that are completely random. Some are specific to
Yeah.
Smash, some are video games related, some are just complete meme questions. But here we are now. Ace, are you ready?
Just give me 1 second.
All right.
All right. I am ready.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
Perfect. What is your character demon? This means a character that you hate fighting, even if the MU is favorable for Ness.
DDD.
Really?
Hmm.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just very hard to deal with him. I find it. I know that not everyone has a hard time. Not every Ness main. It's an unpopular opinion among Ness mains, I would say. But yeah, terrible matchup for me.
No, I understand. Here in Argentina, we had there was a stage in 2019 where there were three DDD mains. Currently, none of them play with DDD or play anymore. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Um, do you listen to music while playing Smash, like competitively, or
I do.
oh, what do you listen to?
Um, I listen to a specific song. It can vary the song, but I listen to a song on repeat.
I do that
Um,
too.
yeah. It's it's great. If it's a song that like pumps you up, it's like it can have a lot of difference in your results, I
Yeah,
found. Um, I think it's a Eurobeat version of the first opening of Attack on Titan. You know that anime?
I have a Titan tattooed on me.
No, really?
I do.
A Titan? Which one?
Let me send you a picture. It's just a normal Titan, but I asked my tattoo artist uh to have a Titan that resembles me. Because in the end of the day, it's like my inner demons and in a Titan form. Let me check if I have the tat the picture of the tattoo. But yeah, I actually love Attack on Titan. I at first I wasn't really much into it, but my fiance loves Attack on Titan. As a matter of fact, she has two Levi tattoos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, he's the best character.
Honestly, no, but
Who do you think is the best?
I'm a Jaegerist,
Yeah, okay. Let's not spoil this for people that haven't watched it.
of course.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
don't see that. I don't see him ending very well.
no, me either. Next question will be, what's your shoe?
My shoe size, I think in US sizes it's 8.5.
You can tell me in Europe. I think I understand more if it's from the European size.
42.
Interesting.
Which anime I've watched? I started with Bleach, and I'm watching it now too, the new one that's come out now. Uh, but then I watched a lot of different ones. I think among my favorites is Attack on Titan. Death Note used to be my favorite for the longest time.
Yeah, mine too.
I watched Naruto, One Piece, but just half of it. I stopped somewhere. After Ace died, there was no point. Um, I watched a bunch of anime actually. I'm not like an anime head, but I have watched a
No,
fair
neither
amount.
neither am I. Don't worry. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, I'm not big of a shonen guy. I'm more of um, I'm more of a slice of life. But weirdly enough, two of my favorite animes are shonen, so it kind of makes sense.
Which
Um,
ones?
my one of them is of course Shingeki no Kyojin, and the other is Dragon Ball GT.
I used to watch the first Dragon Ball, man. I'm OG.
Uh,
When Goku was Son Goku was a kid.
yeah, I used to love Dragon Ball. Here's
It's amazing.
here's the picture.
Toriyama, I mean that guy.
Yeah. Um, here's the tattoo.
There it is. Oh man. It looks great. It doesn't look like you, thankfully, that much, I would say.
It does look like me when I have short hair.
Interesting. Yeah,
So
maybe the chin is like kind of triangle-ish.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
So what's your favorite video game outside of Smash? If Smash is your favorite video game.
Smash is not my favorite video game. My favorite video game of all time is Monkey Island, the series, all of it. I just love it a lot.
Interesting. I this is the
Yeah.
first time I've heard of a player telling me that Monkey Island is their favorite game.
Have you ever played it?
I watched playthroughs of it, but I've never actually played it.
I don't generally recommend it because it's not for everyone. I think his humor is just, yeah, it's something that I grew up with,
Hmm.
and Guybrush means a lot to me, like as a character.
Makes sense.
So yeah,
So I don't know if you will understand this question, but ¿Sabes hablar en español?
I didn't understand it.
If you do know how to speak in Spanish,
No.
it makes sense.
I can say I have a dog that looks like you. Tengo un perro que se parece a ti.
Fuck.
But that's all I can say.
That's weird. Um. so, well, last question: who would you like to nominate so he or she could come to this podcast?
Um,
Afro is already a player that I wanted to, a player or TO that I want to um,
yeah.
interview. So if there's any other one,
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Afro and Sud Demphy for organizing the One Up Funk series, by the way, which are the first two Smash tournaments that have or that were organized after the pandemic.
mm-hmm.
It was an incredible experience. I would hello, yes, that is me. Super fun to be there and you know be with the other guys. It was super fun to win both also. But yeah, in all seriousness, like great job. I really appreciate it. Um, who would I nominate? I think my brother. Um, he's a underrated player because he's pretty equal to me in terms of skill, I would say. Um, I would think that he's a good candidate for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he's a really fun guy, not because he's my brother, but I have a lot of fun when I'm around him. Um, yeah, I don't know. If we are talking about Smash, yeah, I don't have any. Well, also, I would like to hear a lot about this guy that joined your stream today in the beginning, Thoben.
Mm.
I don't know him a lot. We play every now and then against each other. He's a really good. Well, he mains a bunch of different characters. Um, but I can give you his links if you want, because
Yeah, please do.
I don't know much about him, and I would like to learn more about him because he's in Switzerland.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, please do. Well, here's where the podcast is coming to an end. Thank you so much to Ace. If the public wants to look up your social media, where they could find you.
Um, yeah. First of all, I have a Twitch. I'll write it here. Obviously, that's my Twitch. I stream every now and then. It's comes and goes in periods. I have a Twitter. Maybe where do I write it? Should I write it in the chat?
Yeah, sure. I think it's Ace Ness, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is AceNess. How did you know? Um,
I'm
also, I have an
interviewing.
Instagram.
I'm interviewing Ness. I'm interviewing Ace. I need to know everything.
I have an Instagram account for my Smash stuff. Mm, I don't use it very much, so maybe I'll give you my personal one.
No, it's
So
really not
you,
necessary. It's more so if you're comfortable with sharing your Instagram account though. But it's your call.
I did. I don't mind it.
Okay,
People wanna see what I'm doing.
awesome. So
So
thank
and the
you.
Discord. I will share the Discord as well.
Awesome. So thank you everyone as well for watching. Majestic, Thoban, the real Michaels, Out for City, Weird Person, the three-headed monkey, Lazy Luck, Ants, and Turok, Diodino, and everyone else for watching this podcast all the way through, and for everyone who will watch this in the future. Thank you to my fiance for letting me to use this setup. Um,
You can say thank you to your fiance from me too, and for the compliment she gave me.
uh,
Right.
dice gracias por el cumplido de su outfit. She says awesome.
Thanks.
Um, so if anyone, don't forget anyone, if you're watching this, don't forget to follow me on Twitch so you won't miss the chance to watch another podcast. If you like to directly support me, you can check my coffee or my sponsor. The links will be in my Twitter and my YouTube or Twitch. So thank you everyone for watching this podcast. I will see you later in another. I will see you later in another interview. Live long and prosper the game. Bye.